Ever wondered how to make the perfect lobster roll at home? Well, you're in the right place. The lobster roll is often seen as a luxurious treat, a delicacy that embodies the essence of a coastal getaway right in the palm of your hand. Its appeal lies in its simplicity. Fresh, succulent lobster, a hint of mayo, and a soft, toasted bun. It's the kind of meal that's both comforting and elegant, a delightful paradox that keeps us coming back for more. Our aim today is to demystify this seafood star, to guide you through the process of creating a lobster roll that could rival any upscale seafood shack. We'll talk about choosing the right lobster, the secret to a creamy, flavorful filling, and how to assemble it all for that perfect bite. So, are you ready to dive into this culinary adventure? To start, gather all the necessary ingredients for this gourmet delight. Let's dive into the specifics of what you'll need to bring this luxurious sandwich to life. First and foremost, we need fresh lobster. The star of the show, a succulent, sweet lobster, is what sets this roll apart. Aim for about 1.5 pounds of live lobster. This should yield just the right amount of meat for 4 generous rolls. Next up is mayonnaise. A high-quality, full-fat mayo brings a creamy richness that complements the lobster beautifully. You'll need about 1/4 cup. Not too much, as we don't want our lobster swimming in it. Now let's add a bit of zest with some fresh lemon juice. The tang of the lemon cuts through the richness, providing a vibrant contrast. A squeeze from half a lemon should do the trick. Celery is our next ingredient. A 1/2 cup of finely chopped celery adds a lovely crunch and a subtle, refreshing flavor. It's these little touches that elevate the lobster roll from good to great. Scallions, also known as green onions, are next on our list. 2 finely chopped scallions will bring a delicate oniony note that won't overpower the lobster. And let's not forget the vessel for our luxurious filling, the buns. 4 brioche buns to be precise. Their buttery, slightly sweet flavor and soft texture make them the perfect choice. Lightly toast them in a bit of butter to get that irresistible golden crust. Speaking of butter, you'll need about 2 tablespoons. Melt it over medium heat and brush it onto the buns before toasting. This will give them a beautiful sheen and an extra layer of flavor. Each ingredient plays a crucial role in crafting the perfect lobster roll. From the star ingredient, the lobster, to the supporting cast of mayo, lemon juice, celery, scallions, and buttered brioche buns. Every element comes together to create a symphony of flavors and textures. With these ingredients ready, you're all set to start cooking. Firstly, the star of the dish, the lobster, needs some attention. Let's dive into the process of preparing the lobster, a procedure that requires a bit of patience and finesse. The first step is boiling the lobster. We're aiming for a perfectly cooked lobster. Not too tough, not too soft, just right. Fill a large pot with water, add a generous dash of sea salt, and bring it to a steady boil. Then gently place your lobster into the boiling water. Remember, the key to a succulent lobster roll is not overcooking the lobster. Now, depending on the size of your lobster, the cooking time will vary slightly. For a 1 to 1.5 pound lobster, boil for approximately 12 to 15 minutes. For a 2 to 3 pound lobster, you're looking at 18 to 20 minutes. Once the shell turns bright red and the antennae can be easily pulled off, the lobster is ready to be removed from the pot. Next, we move on to the cooling process. It's crucial to stop the cooking process immediately after the lobster is done boiling to maintain that tender, juicy texture we're after. The best way to do this is to plunge the lobster into a bath of ice water. Let it cool completely, which usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes. Once cooled, it's time to extract the meat from the lobster. Crack open the claws, knuckles, and tail using a lobster cracker and pick. It's a bit of a messy process, but the reward is a succulent, sweet lobster meat that's going to make your lobster roll absolutely divine. Make sure you get every bit of that precious meat out, leaving no delicious morsel behind. So there you have it. You've successfully boiled, cooled, and extracted the meat from your lobster. Remember, the secret to a delicious lobster roll is in the quality and preparation of the lobster meat itself. It's worth taking the time to do it right. Now that the lobster is prepared, it's time to make the filling. The filling is what gives the lobster roll its unique, creamy, and tangy flavor. Now, let's dive into the creation of this delightful filling. You begin with a base of mayonnaise. This creamy ingredient is the backbone of our filling, providing a velvety texture that envelops the lobster meat beautifully. But we're not merely using the mayonnaise for its consistency. It also adds a subtle sweetness that complements the lobster's natural flavor. Next, we add a splash of fresh lemon juice. This tangy addition cuts through the richness of the mayonnaise, adding a bright citrus note that will make our lobster roll taste wonderfully fresh. Lemon also has a knack for enhancing seafood flavors, making our lobster taste even more exquisite. Now, for a bit of crunch and a hint of earthy flavor, we incorporate finely chopped celery. The celery's crispness juxtaposes the creaminess of our filling, adding an exciting textural element. Its distinctive flavor also adds a layer of complexity that will keep your taste buds guessing. To finish off our filling, we add a sprinkle of finely chopped scallions. These green wonders add a pop of color and a touch of sharpness that balances out the creaminess of the mayonnaise and the sweetness of the lobster. Once all these ingredients are in the bowl, it's time to fold in the star of the show, the cooled lobster meat. We've taken care to prepare this lobster to perfection, and folding it into the filling allows each piece to be coated in our carefully balanced flavor medley. This process ensures that every bite of our lobster roll will be a harmonious blend of creamy, tangy, sweet, and crunchy. The filling for a lobster roll is a delicate dance of flavors and textures, each ingredient playing its part to create a symphony of taste. It's the heart of the lobster roll, the part that makes this dish so special. Once the filling is ready, it's time to assemble the rolls. Assembling the lobster roll is an art in itself. You've made it this far, and now it's time to bring it all together. The lobster has been cooked to perfection. The filling is bursting with flavor, and now it's time to marry these two in a beautiful union. Begin with the brioche buns. These aren't just any buns, they're brioche, rich and slightly sweet, a perfect counterpoint to the savory lobster. But before we assemble our roll, we need to toast these buns lightly. So take a pan, melt some butter, and let these buns soak up all that golden goodness. Toast them until they're golden brown, just enough to add a bit of crunch but still maintaining their soft interior. Now comes the moment we've all been waiting for, filling our toasted brioche buns with the lobster mixture. This is where we need to be generous, but not overzealous. Remember, we want a well-stuffed lobster roll, but we don't want it to fall apart in our hands. So, spoon the lobster mixture into the buns, making sure to distribute it evenly. Let's not forget about the garnish. A sprinkling of scallions adds a burst of freshness and color that complements the rich, creamy filling. But be careful not to go overboard. We don't want to overpower the star of the show, the lobster, so you see, it's all about balance. The buttery toasted brioche bun, the creamy, flavorful lobster filling, and the fresh, vibrant scallions all coming together to create a symphony of flavors and textures. Each ingredient has been carefully chosen, each step meticulously executed to ensure that every bite of this lobster roll is an experience to savor. It's not just about making a sandwich, it's about creating a culinary masterpiece, a testament to your culinary prowess. And there you have it, the perfect lobster roll made right at home. So how simple was that? In a matter of minutes, we transformed a few ingredients into a culinary delight, the perfect lobster roll. We started off with choosing the freshest lobster, then moved on to delicately preparing it, keeping in mind not to overcook it. Following that, we created a filling that was a perfect blend of mayonnaise, lemon juice, and selected spices. And finally, we lovingly assembled our lobster roll, placing our delicious filling into a buttered and toasted roll. This process, as we've seen, is straightforward and uncomplicated. Now it's your turn to create this gastronomic wonder. Don't forget, a side of crispy potato chips or a tangy coleslaw can elevate your lobster roll experience to a whole new level. Remember, the secret to a great lobster roll is in the quality of the ingredients and the love you put into making it. Happy cooking!